Everyone. I wanted to make sure that we kicked off a series because so many women are coming into this space asking the same questions. And I feel like, as a service to all of you in my community, especially, let's talk about it. Most of y'all are coming in asking, when am I going to finally have the time and energy to do what I want to do? You worked all your life, and it's a fair question. Okay. So I'm Dr. Tony. Of course, I'm an executive coach for women who would like to balance. That's the word they use, right? But that work life mastery is so elusive. So let us know where you are, whether it's a replay or right now live with me. Tell me where you are so I can see where we reach each day. We are going to be doing a daily tip series. Okay. So if you catch this later, let us know if you have any questions also. One of the things that I wanted to bring to you is that when you choose a habit, you're choosing the results of that habit. That's a Zig Ziglar quote. If you know anything about one of the master trainers, that lived for years and worked probably until he was gone, that was one of the things he taught. Now, if you're in the habit of saying, I don't have time, you probably need to learn the 4 Ps. P as in Paul. So we're going to talk today about those because I feel like it's going to be easier for you to remember what's really going on. Everybody thinks time management is the solution, and I am here to say that is not it. If we don't correct the 4 Ps, time management won't do a daggone thing for you. So raise your hand if you have like multiple planners. Every year in January or whenever, at the top of the year, typically, or the end of December, everybody gets excited. Oh, I've got my new planner. I'm so ready to go. You're all pumped, right? Then when it's actually time to use it, how well is that working out? It's not. It's not. So I want to talk today about the 4 Ps of time management, like what's sabotaging your time management so that you could be a little bit more empowered to do something about it. If you're not knowing exactly what's wrong, how can you really address it? Okay. So the first one, I'm always going to say this one first, is the perfectionism. You might have had plenty of opportunity on your schedule, but you wouldn't let it go. So you redo it, you revisit it, you want to release it into the world, but you're nervous to do so, right? But if you don't get it out, how will we ever know how great it is, right? So there's a lot of things that we do to sabotage ourselves. So when you set up with that beautiful calendar, that beautiful planner that you got, it's all beautiful, you finally fill it in, you do not estimate the right amount of time to do the work. So the perfectionism skews how much time it takes to complete any project whatsoever. So you put it in, and then what happens? You run out of time. That's not really where it's at. So in order for you to correct it, you need to get out of the habit of overthinking, overdoing it. Good enough beats perfect, especially when done beats perfect, especially when you get to rest more. What would you do if you had more time? Tell me, what would you do? What would you do if you had more time? Most of us would want to spend more time relaxing, enjoying our families, traveling. That's what I hear all the time. But y'all are sitting there in front of that computer yet again, or on the devices. So real talk, all this multitasking, overthinking, and overdoing, it also leads to you not being able to hand anything off. Do you know how often I meet with my team? Not as much as, rarely. You know why? Because everybody has their role, and good enough is going to be my new thing, right? So I recommend that you get in the habit so it's easier for someone to help you. Nobody can delegate. No, you won't be able to delegate effectively if you're micromanaging and overseeing every single thing people do. Okay. So number 2P, it's another favorite, procrastination. So procrastination comes with perfectionism usually, but you're dreading something. You don't really enjoy it. You don't want to do it. So you put it off. And finally, it's kind of a midnight run to make it happen at the last minute. I don't want you to miss out on a good thing called life, called that relationship you wanted so much, all that stuff you were praying for, looking forward to, all the reasons you work so hard. Now you're sitting here putting everything off and like nervous and anxious all the time because you're running against the clock. So procrastination is this focus, right? You're focusing on the short term and not the long term. You got to pull back and do that 30,000-foot view, or you're going to always be full of requests and full of tasks that just never, you never feel like you're going to get ahead, right? You never feel like you're going to make an impact. You're never going to actually finish anything. And honestly, only a few big things make the difference, right? So if you're putting off the big things, you're not getting to the goals that you set for yourself at the top of the year, at the top of the quarter, at the top of the month. So you are now putting yourself in jeopardy of really never getting where you were planning to go. And I don't think most winners want that. So don't put yourself in a situation to wait, which means missing out for so many of us. I remember getting handed a last minute opportunity because I didn't procrastinate. It was like reward. I was so grateful, right? So I had put my name in for this really great summer research, cardiovascular research fellowship at Yale. I remember this so well. And I was so excited for the opportunity. And then frankly, they said, not this year. I was like, oh, okay, got it. I didn't put it off. I was doing a good job at the time of jumping in. And they said, oh, sorry, not this time. So because I was higher up on the wait list, when somebody else canceled, I was the first one they called. They were like, hey, an opportunity came up randomly. Can you come? I was like, yes. It was one of the best, most memorable summers in my college career. It opened up a lot of doors, a lot of opportunities for me. So, there's rewards for not putting things off. And frankly, it makes it a lot easier for you to jump to it when the opportunities come your way. So don't put it off. Okay. Busy and not productive. Okay. That's another P. You think you're being productive just because you're busy. It's busy work. When we were in school, I'll never forget this one chick in medical school. Oh my God. We were all so anxious when we had to rotate with this lady. She was asked to do some tidying up around the office. She thought that was busy work. Listen, it was not. If you are asked to participate and everybody's on the team, you got to be a team player. I'm not saying that there's something that you can't say no to, but she was like, I didn't go to medical school to be cleaning up anybody's office. Like she was absolutely adamant and she absolutely refused to help the staff and other students, like just tidy up everything for the next day. And, that means we moved some items around and cleaned up some stuff, but she felt like that was beneath her. I'm not talking about being a team player. A lot of times you do need to do things that aren't exactly on your list, right? But in order for you to get where you're going, you got to figure out which ones are busy work and which ones are that 80%. What are those few tasks that actually move the needle for you? We don't do that. We're not honest about it. And we just keep putting it off. And then we're just busy all the time and distracted. We don't even have time to think about our goals. We don't have time to think about ourselves. We don't have time to evaluate whether or not we're on path or on task for the future that we deserve. And so if you're waiting for somebody to nudge you, pull you back, most of the time people are asking you to do stuff, right? That's the biggest problem that we have, is that everything's a fire. They're asking you constantly to put out fires. There's constant interruptions. And the sad thing about it is it's important, but is it urgent? Most of the time it's not urgent. When you're not clear on what your goals are, if they're not written, if you're not accountable for that, which is a lot of reason why you're moving tasks around on your calendar, you're busy, but you're not productive. So just wanted to make sure you know that these low yield tasks are not going to get you where you want. It leads to a habit of multitasking, feeling good about yourself temporarily, but definitely you're calling me talking about, oh, I've been working at this place however long, and unfortunately I didn't get the promotion, or I have a title but no money. Those sorts of things. They got you busy. They kept you busy while everybody else was making real strides. And it's a construct, right? Have all especially the women, running around with their heads cut off, but not necessarily making headway. That's rough when you've been doing it for several years and now you're exhausted, which is going to take me to our last P. Women, ladies, you got to stop this attitude of power through. That's the last P, okay? You're powering through. You're determined to prove yourself. You're determined to make a way out of no way. You're the go-to person for almost everything and everything you do. So if it's church, if it's your favorite nonprofit, if it's I have a client who was this PTA mom, and I'm like, who has time for all these extra meetings and all these extra tasks and all these bake sales and stuff? And she certainly did not. And then she's the homeroom mom. It was just ridiculous because even though she had that mommy guilt, it wasn't really spending quality time with her child. Do you see that? You see what I did there? So she made the mistake of trying to be perfect, trying to do everything. Then she's running around with her head cut off, powering through, and then she's busy but not productive. And she's not spending quality time, which is what she told me she wanted to do. So get off the train of busy and don't just sacrifice sleep. Who's done that? What's the number one thing you tend to sacrifice? I will tell you the two I hear about all the time. Vacation. You think, oh, I'll just do this on my time off. So you're doing, administrative tasks. You're looking out for other people's best interests, all while you're supposed to be restoring yourself so you can go in there and win. So unfortunately, you're saying yes to all the wrong things, or you just don't know how to get out of things that used to be on your plate that you wanted to do. It's not that you don't want to do them anymore. It's just that maybe that's not the best use of your time when you've earned the right to now wash your hands of it, right? So powering through also looks like not having some very important conversations. I see quite a bit of that. So you're sacrificing time, family, money, and trying to keep a good face. But then you have these consults where I can tell that really, if you'd asked for help sooner, you wouldn't be in this boat. So that's going to be detrimental because every year that you lose income, I had a recent conversation with a really wonderful leader who did get promoted, but then she found out that the track to promotion wasn't what she thought. That's a different conversation, but understand this. Every year that she was working and not getting that higher tenure track senior partner pay, how much money is that? When you do the math, it hurts your own feelings, right? We calculated it was probably, well, never mind. Y'all just know that you're missing out because you're also losing the compounding interest in your retirement. What if you turned it around right now? Do you know what you could do for your family? You know what you could do for yourself? Do you know that you could probably stop wringing yourself dry? That's my plea to you, is to stop powering through, stop trying to look perfect, stop trying to please other people, and sit down and think about what the heck you want for you so that you can serve the world in the ways that are really just your purpose. That's another P. You need to focus on your purpose. So let's run down those four. Perfectionism, it's a habit, tough habit to break. Procrastination, I know why you do it. Productive, busy work, to-do lists that never end, don't do it. And powering through, when you really need to be focused on where you want to go in life and whether or not it's fulfilling. Oftentimes, you get to a point in your life where it's no longer serving you. Yes, everybody thinks you have enough. Yes, they're proud of you and all that you've achieved. But in the end, if it doesn't make you feel good, if you're losing sleep, if you don't feel joyful to get out of the bed in the morning, or worse, you barely ever make it to bed because all you're doing is taking care of these other people, I promise you, they will step over your cold body and replace you very quickly when you burn out and stress out and lose it. They will replace you so quick. So if you are feeling like you're heading towards burnout, or you're feeling like, I don't really know what the heck I want to do, I would recommend that you go ahead and get on my schedule. I have not offered free consults in I don't know when. So I'm doing these breakthrough calls because there's a need for it. I don't want people to hesitate to have the conversation with somebody who totally understands and has done all of the things that um, I'm telling you not to do, right? And I'm saying it from a place of enough already. Let's make a new plan. Let's make a new place for you in the way that you want, as opposed to what everybody thought was a good fit for you. Those days are over. Do what you really want to do, and we can make it happen. drtonymd.com/talk. And we will have a 45-minute breakthrough call and discuss what is going to be your best look. These 4 Ps, all of them are part of your self-management plan. How can you avoid the pitfalls that most women are suffering with and being so busy that they can't get out of it? All right, we'll talk soon. I look forward to seeing you. Each day I'll be leaving tips for you because we aren't going to have anybody come and correct us. We've got to be the ones to identify the problem, raise our hands, and step up, and not think of it as a failing. You know, a lot of times asking for help is seen as a negative, especially in the medical community where I'm from, but it's not fair to you to keep sitting there waiting for someone to notice all your hard work. They don't. And if they do, they just pat you on the hand or pat you, oh, yeah, oh, we can't do anything without you. You're the best. Everybody's leaving out the door and you're sitting there working and eating your lunch at your desk. Let's put an end to that. drtonymd.com/talk. I look forward to seeing you each evening. Now, of course, my schedule for the whole month is quite busy, but I will make sure that I check in with you, make sure I leave new information for you each day, because I really think it's going to help you to start to shape the future, which is really important. No more short-term thinking. Talk soon. It's Dr. Tony, your coach, who's going to help you combine the things you want so you don't have to sacrifice for the people you love or yourself. All right, take care.